Hi, welcome to English 111 Online. This week it looks like there's a whole lot of stuff to do, but there's really just one graded assignment this week, and that is your rough draft for Essay 3. But there's a lot of material to help you with that. So this week, view my weekly video, which you're doing now. Continue to read, try to get through those 6 chapters and find good evidence that you can put into your essay. If you can read all 8 chapters, even better. Continue to note important passages that you feel would offer a cause for why the author Westmore ended up being a successful individual, or why the other Westmore ended up being not so successful. And I really do just want you to choose one or the other, not try to cover both of them here. Review the document explaining what to write for Essay 3. I duplicated it and put it on here again. Here it is right here, Essay 3, Directions for Cause and Effect. View the document template for Essay 3. Here is a template that will remind you exactly what needs to go into the essay. And it's starting with your hook for your introductory paragraph, your thesis at the end of that introductory paragraph, and then your each body paragraph having a topic sentence, and then some context for the cause that you're going to be speaking of in the essay, and then some evidence that you bring in from the book. And that's why I've asked you to continue to mark passages that seem relevant. All right, so that template there, it will, if you follow that, you'll have everything that you need to have in the essay. So that was that one. Now view the sample introductory paragraph document, the sample body paragraph document. I have put on a checklist for body paragraphs to remind you what needs to go in those. View the document Help with the Other Westmore. View the document Secondary Source to add value. And view the document Sample in-text citations and works cited entries. And I'm going to go over that with you in just a moment. Go back and review those, look at your template, and then let's take a look at this sample introduction paragraph. This is something that I do not want you to copy this, of course, but you can use it as a pattern for your introductory paragraph, and it's going to come up in just a moment, I believe. There we go. So this one starts, French philosopher Jean-Paul Sartre once said, "We are our choices. Human beings make the choice that determine their fate and the people they become." Westmore, the author of The Other Westmore, explores this concept in his book and how he and the other man by the same name end up in different places. Moore shows how their environment, education, and societal expectations led them to the decisions that changed their lives. So this purple statement here at the end is your thesis statement, or is the thesis statement for this introduction paragraph. You do not have to use these. If you would like to use these as your 3 causes, you certainly may. You just need to come up with your own evidence for that. So that's one document to help you. Here's a sample body paragraph for our cause and effect essay for our other Westmore essay. And it starts with a topic sentence, and so which would be one of the causes. So here from that, based on that first introductory paragraph that we just looked at, the environment played a big part in both Wes's lives. And that would be your topic sentence. And then you need to give some kind of explanation or some kind of context to explain that. So both the author and the other Westmore lived in neighborhoods that were inversely affected by the influx of crack cocaine. That's an explanation of your idea about the environment playing a part. When the author moved to the Bronx with his mother and two sisters, the first thing they saw was an older woman buying drugs from a younger boy. And note that we put the page number that information came from. So whether you're having a direct quotation, whether it's a summary or a paraphrase, you still put the page number where you got that information from. Now that is one piece of evidence that backs up your idea that their neighborhood, their environment was affected by this crack cocaine. Here's another piece of evidence. Wes also sees a makeshift memorial for a young girl displayed on a telephone pole near his grandparents' home, and that was on page 38. That's more evidence. And then when one sees these things happen frequently, they become normal and in a way accepted. That's explanation of ideas. In other words, the evidence that you brought in, how does that back up the topic sentence and that you're trying to put in here? And so you need, after every piece of evidence, you need to explain it. And then here's a concluding sentence for that paragraph. Therefore, the environment around Wes, although violent and wrong, became acceptable, blurring the lines of what is right and what is not. And that would be your concluding thought in your own words. So this actually has all of your words except for this evidence that is brought in right here. And so in the purple. So give us some context, bring in some evidence to back up the context that you've given us. Explain that evidence and how it proves your topic sentence, and then sum it up at the end of the paragraph before you go on to your next paragraph and your next cause. Now, you might have more than 3 paragraphs for causes. You may divide it up in a different way. But you need to have, this is something that every paragraph needs to have. So the next document I have on here to help you is the checklist for body paragraphs, because every paragraph that you put in will have a topic sentence, will have some context or explanation of that topic sentence, and then it would have evidence from the novel, either quotations, paraphrase passages, or summaries, followed by the page number. And your in-text citations, always you have your quotation, your parentheses, and then your punctuation outside of the parentheses at the end, because your in-text citation becomes part of your sentence, so your period would go after that. Transition words in most cases, and a concluding thought in your own words, in other words, more explanation. So most of the words for this essay are going to come not from the evidence from the text, but from your own explanation. All right, something else that might help you with this, I have something here called Help with the Other Westmore. And with the Help with the Other Westmore, I actually have put some things in here that I think will be helpful to you. One thing are the themes that are covered in the Other Westmore that are related to success or failure. Like poverty could be a cause of how they turned out. Drugs, crimes, prison or jail time itself. Absent fathers, the single mother, overcoming obstacles, mentoring, role models, life choices, fate versus free will. And there's one point in the book where the other Westmore, the one that ends up in prison, says that he believes that he was sort of fated to end up in prison because of others' expectations of him. And the importance of education. I think all of these would be helpful to you. I also put in a little summary of each part of the book. The first part of the book, Fathers and Angels, the first 3 chapters. This is when we see that they were very much alike and very much on the same path. But then when they became teens, some very specific things happened to cause one to go down one fork in the road and the other to go down the other one. And then the second part of the book, Choices and Second Chances, is the next 3 chapters, chapters 4 through 6. And this is when Wes goes to military school and actually starts to change some things in his life to make a different path for himself and end up one way, whereas the other Wes did not. Part 3, those are those last 2 chapters that I said read those if you can. This is where we have chapter 7, the future prisoner Wes turns his life around through the Job Corps, but it does not. It was not a lifelong turnaround. We also see how, once again, mentoring has amazing power and how it leads to author Wes Moore to his path to a Rhodes Scholarship there. And in chapter 8, we see what went down with the robbery and the murder and how the other Wes Moore ended up in prison. Quotations related to the cause of success or failure. I have included some of these to give you the quotations that maybe you want to use, maybe you don't want to use. It's up to you. But I put them in here to show you how to use them in the context of your essay. So always preface a quotation with a single phrase, a signal phrase, alerting your readers that these aren't your words. So something like, according to the author remembers, the author relates, something to let us know, you've given us some context, you've given us a topic sentence, but these are not your words now. Don't just plunk the quotation in there, but make it so that we have a clue that this is not the words anymore. Notice that the quotation ends in quotation marks, and then you have your parentheses, your page number, parentheses, and then your period. I've also given you a quotation method for if your quotation is long and it takes up more than 3 typed lines of your text. We don't put it in quotation marks, we indent it. So this is showing you the example of that. And there are some other examples in here too. When you leave out something or when you change something, you use brackets. The author realizes that boredom in teenage boys is a powerful motivation to create chaos. Boredom in the quotation was capital letter, but in the context of this sentence, it does not need to be capital, it needs to be lowercase, so we put that in brackets. And then when you leave something out, use an ellipsis mark. So in this quotation, you can see the 3 dots, that's your ellipsis mark. So I think that might be helpful to you. And then there's also a document here, how to add a secondary source to add value to your essay. I've actually done that, shown you how that's going to work. And here are some value added resources that you might want to use, you may not. There's some things from other students that I've collected into a document, and you can do that. And then a sample in-text citation and works cited entry to let you know how to do that. When you get your rough draft together, you're going to submit it right here on the SA3 rough draft link. And I'll get back with you as soon as I possibly can for your with the remarks so that you can turn it in your final draft next week.